Alright, here we are. It's July. Mr. Tacklebox Pro Panfish and Trout. This is probably my favorite subscription box that I get. I really love spinners. And I like trout fishing. Don't get me wrong, I love bass fishing. But getting new trout gear is always exciting. When you go to the store, you see like the same things usually all the time. And this is the time for me to just get all new spinners. So let's see what's inside this thing. I feel like this box is going to be a lot better than they normally are. Plus I already took a peek. Alright, let's see what we got here. 50 assorted trout hooks. Definitely try these out. See what they do. They're like little, they're almost like baby wacky hooks, kind of, or baby drop shot hooks. I wonder why they're considered trout hooks. I don't fish a lot with live bait. I usually just use spinners because I have so much more. I fish way better with like spinning tackle than with bait. So, plus bait around here is kind of hard to get good bait. But yeah, there's little bitty guys in there. Alright, what's next? Cricket hooks. Okay, so I've seen these in stores. I've never bought them. So these are supposed to be used with a live cricket. That's why they have such a long shank. So you just thread. Oh, can I get one out? There we go. So you just thread the cricket on there, and because it's got such a long shank for the long body of the cricket, you thread it on there, and bam, baby little bitty hook. This shank might not look so big in comparison to the hook on the camera, but trust me when I say it's a really long shanked, super light wire hook. That's pretty neat, actually. Here we go. Our first spinner of the box, Black Magic. This one's called Gold Rush. Nice little feathered baby treble hook back here. Kind of a weird packaging. I think my last one of these from Black Magic that I got maybe 2 months ago, 3 months ago, was packaged like this. It's definitely not the same package that they would use for like a regular store, because the hooks are all exposed. There's no covering on them. Pull that apart there. Nice little brass Colorado blade with black, red, and yellow on it. It's got a gold, and it's sort of like a Christmas tinsel color tied together there for the baby treble hook on the back, which is on a split ring, which is nice, so you could always change it out if you're fishing in barbless waters. It already comes with a swivel on it, which is super useful, and it's a little baby swivel. See if they have any information about it, but it's got a great body. This is definitely a super clear water spinner. Versatile design allows quick retrieves in fast-flowing rivers and streams, and slow retrieves in deeper lakes or rivers. An effective lure for trolling and casting when targeting a wide range of freshwater and estuarine species. Made with quality componentry. Okay. Interesting. It's from New Zealand. Maybe that's... Huh. I don't know if I've actually ever seen it written like that. It's interesting. No, but this thing is... It's super, super cool. I'm definitely going to use this. I really like that they already have the baby swivel already pre-wired on there, so you don't have to tie another swivel onto it. This is really, really exciting. Let's scoot that back a little bit there. Alright, trout magnet combo. Okay, so these are 1/64 ounce jig heads. This makes me really excited, even though it's a tiny little setup and it's got little bitty baby bobbers on it. You know, whatever. For the first time in all of the Panfish and Trout boxes I've gotten, I've actually received jig heads to use, like all plastics. I bought jig heads, obviously, but I finally got jig heads to use all the other baby plastics with. Finally. That's been my only gripe about this box, is that you never get the jig heads. But Trout Magnet jig heads, they are amazing. They're designed to sit completely level. Okay? Yeah. Otherwise you're gonna get just like a regular jig head, and they are great. They are really, really great. Whack 'em and stack 'em custom baits. Little bitty, like paddle tail kind of little worm. Once again, finally have a jig that you can put it on that comes in the box. Super exciting. A little pink color there. I'm not gonna open these up. Nah, you can see them pretty good there. They're a little pink body with a little pink paddle on the end. Alright. Savage Gear. Okay, so this is super exciting. We got another spinner. Oh. Alright. It says immediate rotation, black nickel finish. They call it a number 2. That hook's definitely a number 2. But there's a lot of things on this that make me really excited. But 5.5 grams. So this is probably like, let's pop it out so I can feel it. It's probably like an 1/8 ounce. And standard. Okay, so right off the bat, what's really cool about this is, besides the color, the body's got a nice color to it. It does have really good components here. Not very often that you get a decal on both sides of the blade. Nickel is my preferred color. Sorry, new gold guy. But this is a little small modification that I do to a lot of my own baits. Alright, so you see that split ring there between the treble and the body, okay? That little split ring is really, really cool, because in a lot of places, especially, I wouldn't even say around here, but a lot of places where you trout fish, you're not allowed to use a treble hook, okay? And even deeper into that, there's a lot of places that you can't use a barbed hook. So a lot of rivers around here are also barbless. What I really like about this is it's already got the split ring on it, and I don't have to cut the hook off. Because a lot of my spinners that I use a lot, I cut them off and I put a baby split ring on them so I can change the hook. And it even comes with an extra black nickel hook. So that's incredibly cool. This is a really, really nice spinner. Colorado blade. It's more of a MEPS blade. Like that you get in the classic MEPS. Flat on the edges with that little concave. But this is a nice spinner. This is a really nice spinner. The only thing that would make this a 100% 10 out of 10 spinner is if it had that little bitty barrel swivel on the end of it. That would make it a complete 10 out of 10. But I'd definitely give this 9.5 out of 10. This is like a 9.5 out of 10. You're never going to get a perfect swivel out of the box. At least I've never found the perfect swivel out of a box. Also, it'd also be kind of nice if this was skirted, but I just really like skirted hooks on my swivel, or on my spinners. Alright, moving on so I don't sit here and talk about these two spinners all day. Alright, Cutie Spins, Spinner Lure, deadly for bluegill and crappies. Crappies. I know it's crappie. I just like calling them crappies. Alright, get this guy out. Does it say how much it weighs? Recommend 2 to 6 pound tests. Tied directly to it, so definitely don't use it. And it's 1/16 ounce yellow. Yeah, this is another super high quality bait here. So you've got a single hook here, buried in the feathers. Nice little brass guy. Doesn't say what brand of hook. It doesn't really matter, as small as it is. It's got a nice barrel swivel there connected to the tiny little Colorado blade. Yeah, this box is really big on Colorado blades right now. But yeah, this is great. The only thing is definitely you're gonna want to go down in line. I don't even know if I'd want to throw this on 6, maybe 4 or 5 if you get lucky and can find 5. You just worry about castability issues with 6 pound. Definitely couldn't throw this on like 8 pound or 12 pound. It just would not work. But no, this is cool. And with it being a Colorado blade, you don't necessarily have to fish it in clear water. If you're in an area where your water's stained, you could throw this on like 10 pound braid easily. But this is super cool. We're up to 3 spinners so far. They're all really nice. And we got these jigs, these trout magnet jigs. Because these, if you're going to buy a small jig, buy the trout magnet ones. Because you can buy it just the jigs. Alright, let's see what we got next. Micro Attack soft swim jig. Oh, and look, these came with tiny little jig heads too. It's almost like MTB has been watching my videos. And they're like, yeah, we should put jig heads in it that you can use for all the plastics. So with this, you don't even necessarily have to use it with this little swim. Let's get this little paddle tail guy out here. Oh, am I gonna get it? Yeah, got it. Alright, so Micro Attack white doesn't give a weight. I'd definitely say that's like, ooh, definitely an 1/8. Yeah. It's got a nice hook keeper on it. Really nice little wire hook keeper. I don't know how well you guys are going to be able to see that little guy. Go ahead, put this little body on here. I know there's already one pre-rigged, but just do it the most difficult way possible. Okay. That's not that close to center. Try again. There we go. It's another thing with when you're rigging these tiny little trout baits, you gotta be pretty much dead close to center. Okay, so I didn't do so hot on this because this, you can see the hook keeper sticking out. I should have stayed a little closer to the top. But yeah, that's a solid little rig right there. Pretty sweet. It's a really nice jig head too, with a little eye. That's really high quality stuff right there. All right, 3-inch Tickle Grub. So it's basically like a regular grub tail, but it's got all these little extra bumps on there that are supposed to get a little bit different action than a regular little grub tail. I honestly don't find these to be too different than regular grub tails, other than that there's just a little bit more going on there. It does change the action a little bit, but I wouldn't go out of my way for these. I'm sure there's somebody out there in the vastness of the internet that's gonna be like, oh no, you're crazy, nothing's better than a tickle tail grub. Either way, white, super solid color. White is probably my go-to color, especially for trout. Alright, what else did we get in here? Carl's Amazing Baits, little chartreuse things. Let's see. Look at this thing. So it's got a flat bottom. Little, kind of like a tickle tail, not really, but it's got a lot of action in it. Definitely want to throw this underneath a float. This is probably going to look like a mayfly. If you're fishing super calm water, you could probably get away with this on just like a regular straight shanked hook, just like a regular hook, or you could even throw it on like this cricket hook and just let it float and see what happens. But the only thing about that would be castability options, so this would be a dangle off a dock, because you'd probably definitely never be able to actually throw this. But definitely on like 2 to 4 pound mono, because it floats. Probably wouldn't want to throw it on braid because would be top water in that situation. But this would be interesting to play with. I don't think I have anything quite shaped like this, but it's definitely a floater. Unfortunately, it doesn't tell you a lot about it other than it's a lure. Alright, here's the information for the Trout Magnet Combo Pack. Yeah, I just recommend the Trout Magnet stuff. It's good. Allows you to cover water. You can float stuff. It makes it so you can use all the baby little plastics. I personally prefer, I have weighted hooks for like steelhead. I have smaller ones for trout, but I typically use my steelhead ones because in rougher water they're a lot more visible. And you can tell, even if the trout can't take the bobber all the way, after you cast a couple times on the river, you'll know when a trout hits it because the bobber won't seem quite right. Even if they can't pull the whole bobber down, it's a trade-off. I like the visibility more of just using the steelhead ones. Happy Dance, there's information about everything that came in the box. And the retail. Not really worried about it because I'm super happy with, well, all of it, but especially this stuff right here. The spinners and everything. Those 3 spinners are sweet. I cannot wait to use these. We got our double book, Gnomes in the Well, 5 top water lures for bass, how to catch more panfish from a kayak, 3 ways to become a more responsible angler, Dear Carl, deadly drop shot, breaking down mangroves, meet Mike, more about Mike. They got new t-shirts, bait casting versus spinning reel, and all the fishing test stuff on the back, for the record, pro tip, whatever. Yeah, this is definitely like a really, really, really good Panfish and Trout box. I don't know if you can still subscribe and get this box this month, but this is awesome. This is fantastic. This is definitely, Panfish and Trout is not a MTB box that I would buy and be like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna go take this box out into the wood or to the river. I'm gonna fish it, because they never give you never get jigs for the little stuff. But in this box, you've got 4. You've got 4 right here. Plus you got all this stuff. You don't really have anything that you could use this Tickle Grub on. You've got regular bait hooks, so if you wanted to just throw like power bait or whatever underneath one of the Trout Magnet bobbers, you could do that. Or you could just go with the spinners. And we got 3 of them this month, which is great. I don't think I've ever gotten 3 spinners. I probably have. But I don't think I've gotten 3 spinners I'm this excited about. Yeah, these are really good. Especially these 2. I'm just enamored with how nice these two especially are. Yeah, I'm probably gonna end up throwing a mustad hook on the back of this because I have feathered mustad hooks that would go right on this in a heartbeat. Well, oh, this is the same way too. It's got that split ring. I talked about that earlier. But this is great. This is fantastic. I just can't wait to throw both of these. I'm a little bit more partial to a willow blade versus Colorado blade, but I'm throwing these. That's super exciting. I really should just get one of those make your own spinner kits and make my own spinners, because I've got enough old spinners that are kind of beat that I don't use anymore because they're beat up really badly, and then just make my own spinners and experiment with it. Yeah, so if you want to know more about spinners, or you think it's so if you think it's a good idea, maybe I should just make my own spinners and just do it that way. Yeah, let me know in the comments. You want me to stop talking about spinners so much? Say that too. Do whatever, guys. But I appreciate everything you guys are doing. I'm getting pretty close to 100 subscribers. Actually, by the time that this drops, I might be over 100. And I've kind of got like a special thing planned for when I do hit 100 subscribers. Yeah, I kind of didn't think I was going to hit 100 subscribers, let alone as quickly as I feel like I've hit them. I just can't thank you guys enough. Yeah, tight lines, and I'll catch you next time. Peace, guys.